Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Neural Networks lab extension. Right now, I'm going to show you how to use the playground. So right over here, we have data, and there are four options. And essentially, this is what you want your machine to guess, the output you want to get. So you have a linear option, a circular option, a four quadrants kind of option, and a spiral option. And the more complex the figure is, the harder it's going to be for that machine to guess it. So right now, we're going to play around just with the linear option. And you can see that right here, I'm feeding it two features. So these are the data inputs that I'm giving the machine that I wanted to learn from. Over here, hidden layers, basically the different trials that it's going to go through. So if I added more hidden layers, it's going to give more of a guess and use those weights accordingly. Right now, we're just going to use one hidden layer to kind of demonstrate how it works. The neuron itself right here is the guess that it's using. If I add more neurons, it's going to have more guesses. And as the machine is doing its trials and seeing what's actually working and what's not, it may place more weight on different neurons. So right now, when I test it, I'm going to press play. And you can see that over here, I have a training loss of about 0.046, which is really good. It means that only 46 out of 1,000 trials are failing. However, let's say I change the features that I'm adding. So let's get rid of this one and let's add this one. So notice how this feature that I'm adding the input does not look much like the data over here. When I press play now, you can see that the trading loss is a lot higher, and that's because the data I'm giving it to use isn't as helpful to the machine. So, but imagine that I was trying to find this. This is the output I want. Then if I use this one, the training loss is going to be about 0.139. However, if I use an input that looks nothing like it, like this, or in this, the training loss is much, much higher. So based on what you want to see, imagine what information the machine's going to use that's going to be most helpful. And you can also, I'm going to go back to the linear one. If I add more hidden layers, and let's say give it some more input, it's going to also change, right? So right now we're still hovering about 0.05. You can see these different weights is how much out of percentage out of one, I guess, that the machine is placing emphasis on based on whether or not using them is effective or not. And so typically a rule of thumb is the more layers you use, the more accurate it'll be, the more neurons you have, the more guesses, right, you have, the more accurate your machine's going to get as well. However, this isn't always the case. You're going to have to play around with it, determine which features are most helpful, and that's your challenge for the rest of this lab.